We know that child care is not a luxury. Child care is a necessity. And that's for our families, our moms, our parents, our economy, and for the health of our state. So I feel we've come full circle. Bonnie said, you actually came when you stood here in October 2020 during the pandemic, and we all had masks on with your greatest Assembly member, Fred Thiel, was here, and Bridget Fleming was here, and Jay, your supervisor, everybody was here. We all had masks. So I want to prove that really was us behind those masks. Okay, but that was us. And I said, I will come back for the ribbon cutting. And what you did to accomplish this beautiful building, open up to the children who live in beautiful East End, was nothing short of extraordinary in the throes of a pandemic, supply chain challenges, worker shortages, I mean, all the things you had to overcome, and yet you persevered. And this facility has been here for over 70 years, serving this community. And it's and as we know, the birth of this facility came out of tragedy. You know the story of two children left unattended while their parents were working out in the fields. And the community came together and says, these children should not be left alone. They need a place to support them and nurture them. And it has been that spirit of giving and that philosophy that has brought us all the way here today in 2022. We cut the ribbon on the Bridgehampton Child Care Facility. And I'll tell you, this is important to me. Some have taken note. First woman governor in the United States. But I'm also the first mother governor. And as of 16 months ago, the first grandmother, but we'll just stop at mother, because I know the stress is on our families. I had the same stress on me, young couple starting out. I'd worked for Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, loved the job, good government salary, you know what I'm talking about? My husband, who's joined us today, and you have your first gentleman as well, I recognize Bill Hochul. He also found his calling working for the Department of Justice as a federal prosecutor working on homicides in our nation's capital. So 2 government salaries, which is fine, we did fine. But all of a sudden, we couldn't find childcare when our baby Billy came along. So all of a sudden, I'm now out of the workforce. And we went from modest down to 0. So it was tough. I remember praying for the day these kids, and I loved them when they were little, but someday when we don't have to spend most of our salary on diapers and formula, we're going to feel rich. And I didn't know that they would be growing those little sneakers every couple of months, and the clothes, and the backpacks, and all the other costs. I just needed to get out of diapers and formula. And I didn't have childcare. I would have loved to continue working with Senator Moynihan. In fact, when I told him I would not be able to come back after 4 months, after searching for childcare, he says, I understand. You need to do what you have to do, but you'll always be able to come back. And that meant a lot to me. But so many others don't even have those options. And I was blessed to have a husband. Many people are single moms. They don't have a spouse to help keep bringing income in. So what do? This is when it takes a village to take care of our kids. And you here are this village for a lot of parents, a lot of moms, single moms many times, as I mentioned, who are going through such struggles. Even more recently, the cost of everything went up, inflation, and the scarcity of formula. How frightening was that just a year ago? And to wonder if you're going to be able to pay for even basic child care if it's available. And a lot of times it's not available. We have child care deserts all over the state of New York. And there's not healthy activities for kids after school. There's no one sitting there making sure that they become Scrabble champions and go into our nation's capital like the team from here did. Scrabble champions from here. Or teaching kids how to play chess like they're doing just upstairs, or teaching kids how to make things with their hands and creative. Everything is focused, as Bonnie told me, like we're trying to get their minds so stimulated. A lot of kids don't have that. So this is personal to me. As a brand new governor, my first budget demonstrated my priorities. We put $6 billion toward helping parents and providers give our kids what they deserve. We put that money on the table. It is there. We also made sure that our providers would have extra resources, that our families could get support subsidies, because I took office and I said, well, what does our subsidies go up to? I mean, how much can a family earn before the subsidies are cut off? It was $53,000. I said, we're leaving a lot of people behind. A lot of families are struggling when they're making $60,000 or $70,000. So starting in October, under my direction, that number will have gone from 53,000 up to 93,000. So we're going to capture 400,000 more children that'll be eligible for subsidized child care. So we're also focusing on our employers. We have a child care pilot program for employers. We're helping subsidize employers. You know what I tell employers when they're putting up a new business? I said, did you make room in your building for child care? Why do I need child care? Do you want to have women in your workforce? And not just women. I mean, it's nothing like being able to provide this where a dad can go down and take care of the child, and maybe if the child's not feeling well, go check on him at lunchtime. And just part of the family. It's all about families staying together and being strong. So employers, I believe, have a responsibility. I remember going up to the North Country, and the leader of a huge tech company said, we're having trouble finding women to work for us. We want to have more women. It's like, well, where's your child care center? You're in the middle of nowhere. What are they supposed to do with their kids? They're working on it. And Micron is a company we lured. If you've heard the Micron story to Upstate, and you'll feel the supply chain benefits all the way here. 50,000 jobs coming, $100 billion investment, the largest investment in our nation's history. And guess what I made them do to get help from the state? They are right now constructing an on-site, separate building child care facility for their workers. This is what we can do in government. We can change the dynamic around this. Also, one other thing we did. I'm noting that our child care tax credit is for 5-year-olds and up. Okay, so we'll help families when their kids are heading off to school. You know, they're not eating at home and they're not at diapers and formula. So I changed that as well. So infants through 4-year-olds on up will now be able to take advantage of a tax credit. So there are countless ways that I'm trying to find to lift our families up. But I can do that out of Albany. When I come here and see that there are people who care so deeply about our children, to give them that first start. And what a difference it's making. I'm telling you right now, every child who walks this door is going to have a better shot at succeeding in life than the kids who don't. But we need to make places like this more available everywhere. So I'm going to hold you up as the model. You are the model. So we supported this with $300,000 from the state. But of course, Bonnie, being Bonnie, says to me, that was really nice. Let me show you our expansion plans over here. Swimming pool, gymnasium. So your great champion, Fred Thiel from the 1st District, says he's going to bring the speaker down and let him see what you do here, too, so you can convince the Assembly. We'll get the Senate on board, and we'll try to make some magic happen. No promises, though, okay? But you are very persuasive, and really to see firsthand, you all need to see what these kids are doing, and is giving them a chance to succeed. And that's our responsibility as not just parents, but also as leaders of the state, because we're doing this for them and for their families to continue generational growth and wealth, because too many communities and families have been left behind. So I'm proud to be here, proud to work with an incredible team that you have here on the ground. Bonnie, I just adore you. I love the passion behind what you're doing. You've been here many, many years. You have a supervisor who is a great champion for you. Jay has been at so many events with me, and he's just got that positive spirit, and can't believe life without Jay. But also Bridget. Bridget's been extraordinary. And Bridget, I feel like this is your last? Yes. Okay. Well, you are the reason I came out here in 2020. I saw Bridget, and she says, this is so important to the community. It means a lot. Would you please come out as Lieutenant Governor? And Bridget, you've been a dear friend and an outstanding public servant. So let's recognize the elected leaders we're blessed to have here. And Fred Thiel, he's a champion for the environment because the environment is everything here. Water quality, making sure that there's chaining for the jobs with offshore wind, making sure that we take care of the whole ecosystem because this is what defines this magnificent part of our state. But he's also been a great supporter of this project. And I want to thank him and congratulate him on getting this over the finish line and for all the great work he does. He's a great friend, a great partner. Ladies and gentlemen, your very own Assembly Member, Fred Thiel.